Hello, everyone, and welcome to From the Ground Up podcast. It has been quite a bit since I've talked to you guys. Feels like forever, to be honest. So, big thanks to Justin Smith of Palmetto Coast Exotics Herpeticulture podcast, as well as Herpeticulture magazine, for doing a guest host show for me just a couple weeks ago. And then thanks as well to the guys of Cornell's World, Chris and Greg, who actually we did a Facebook live stream, and I said, hey, can I pull that audio and make a podcast out of it? So I appreciate them allowing me to do so, because I've been sick the last few weeks. I didn't know that mono can come back after you've had it before, but apparently it can just pop up randomly. So that's why I was sick for almost a month, and it kind of sucked. So there you go. And now here we are now. And basically I needed to manage my energy with all the babies that are coming out. So right now is in the heat of hatching season, at least for me this year. All my babies are hatching out in the last month or two. So I'm separating babies, getting everyone feeding. And that being said, we have some babies on the website already. So I have some 2020 babies up there, probably about half a dozen or so. So just the beginning here, as well as soon I'm going to have some crested geckos and gargoyle geckos up on the website. So keep an eye out for that. And as well as always, I have some isopods available, as well as things like substrate, whether you are looking for cocoa fiber, cocoa chip, aspen, or bioactive bedding, isopod bedding, and different isopod supplies. Please check out portcitypet.com, portcitypythons.com. Also, we have a sponsor. So this is something through Patreon. Is what I do is, if you reach a certain level, you will actually be a sponsor of the show. And our good friends at Snake Discovery, Ed and Emily, they have signed on to be a sponsor for the show. So go over. You're already subscribed to their YouTube channel, let's be honest. But if you are not, go do that. Do that right now. As well as they are going to have some babies available as well. So they are breeding a whole bunch of cool animals over there. So please go check out what they are working with. Go reach out to Emily and Ed and pick up some cool animals. Other than that, man, let's get straight to the chase here. I don't have many repeat guests on this show. I mean, just a small handful. And this week is a repeat guest. It is Shane Wooldridge of Evergreen State Reptiles. Shane, how's it going?
What's up, buddy?
It's been a little bit. Yeah. I mean,
when was I on the podcast?
I would be lying if I told you I knew. I should have looked it up before we did this, but I guess I'm not prepared.
I bet it was probably after last breeding season, but because I don't remember having babies and stuff.
Yeah, I could imagine maybe it was early winter or fall.
I don't remember being this damn hot out at all. That's for sure, because it's hot out.
Yeah, but I know a big thing of what we talked about last time is, I mean, how many shows you're doing and stuff like that. What's your current status on shows? Are there any poking up in the Pacific Northwest over there?
Hell no. I miss shows too, man. Man, I miss it. I mean, it's hard, and not even for like the sales, you know, like we talked, if you remember the podcast before, shows to me are like man, it's like I don't know. It's not like just a reptile show, you know. It's like where I kind of, like I think I remember talking to you about, it's kind of like challenging myself, like outdo myself every time. It's not about making myself look better than any other booth. It's about making myself look better than last time and being the best I can. You know what I mean? Like challenging myself to always outdo myself, but not to where it's like convoluted and sloppy. But man, I just get excited. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's Christmas in a way, but not in the way a lot of people feel. It's not just the reptiles. Like a lot of people love it for the reptiles. You know what I mean? They're excited because it's a reptile show. But for me, it's like, it's the challenge of like the booth and the visual as much as it is the reptile. And then it is also the customer relation and the communication. You know what I mean? Like I could go to a show and not sell or have any snakes, but still be able to have that communication and be happy, because I'd like to talk to people as much as I like to sell people a snake. You know what I mean? Like, and that's gone. Like, it's a struggle, man. It's kind of weird, but I feel like I'm handling it. I just keep thinking it's gonna come back. So
For those who've never done a show, like it's a whole, I don't know, the night before, the prep of the whole thing, the morning of, you wake up early, you're kind of like a little bit nervous, kind of what did I leave behind? What is is everything
yep,
in my box? Am I ready to go? Are we going to be set up on time to get everything done? And it always kind of works out, right? And you get all your stuff done on time, and then all the people flood in, and it's just like a big rush of people talking all the time, and a big adrenaline rush the whole time of just like, and at the end of the day, I'm just like, holy shit, that just like flew by, and you're kind of exhausted. And it's like, and it's so much different than just doing a reptile show or just going to a reptile show. You're speaking to hundreds of people probably in a day. And you get to talk to people who for the first time actually kind of care what you're saying. I mean, you
yeah,
can't talk snakes to just everyone off the street.
yeah. I don't know. I bought some new stuff for the booth, and I didn't get a chance to unveil it. Like some new like table liners or what do you call them? Not table liners, but table runners. Because like my cloth tablecloths are black, and my table runners, they were never like quite right the way they were, so I bought white ones, so it's black on white with the black decal. Didn't get to show those off. I was all ready to rock on those and stoked about it. We were like 2 weeks away. I had some other ideas and other things coming up, and stuff that no one's ever done, and stuff that's like, wow, why hadn't anybody done that? Like different stuff. Can you hear that car revving?
A little bit, yeah.
I've never heard that. There's all of a sudden we're doing a podcast and somebody's working on like a 1970s beater out there, just revving it over and over. I hope it doesn't distract too much.
No, it's all good.
Anyway, yeah, man, it's kind of like, it's hopefully it comes back at some point. I don't know. Who knows really what the hell's going on? Like I don't know. Does anybody? Like, it's like so weird. But like some of my buddies, man, like I don't know how many people you talk to, but got like a group of like seven to 10 kind of like super close guys in the hobby that aren't just like reptile friends, but they're kind of like more so real life friends. And a few of them are struggling because, they're like kind of like landlocked, and, people need to get out. I feel like we've been doing okay, but I don't know. Some people don't give a shit and they've just been going about their ways. But even then, if you go about your ways, still stuff's not still the same, regardless. The county fair is not going on. That was a big thing. Beach communities are closed and stuff. But I mean, the reptile shows, man, I need that to come back. And not even for like the sales, but just, I mean, the reptiles sell, reptiles are selling. You're selling stuff, right? I mean,
it's great.
It's crazy,
man.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have to have your shipping equipment on in stock. You gotta have your ice packs and your boxes and your eating cartridges ready because you're gonna be printing. I mean, I just got back from FedEx. That's why I had to run there before this. But I mean, I prefer show sales and
it doesn't feel the
face-to-face
same at all.
communication. Yeah, for sure. I'd rather show it off and talk and what about this one? And here's why I like this one. And you see the color variations and the patterns and this one. I don't know, whatever. Talk about my animals, and I like to bring adults to the show and show that stuff off, and it's just not the same. I don't want to be an online salesman. I mean, I love Instagram. Like I like communication on Instagram, to be honest with you, and I wish there was even more communication on Instagram, believe it or not. There's really not that much. Like you get a lot of likes, but you don't get that much communication still. Like I would love more communication, believe it or not. Because you know what I mean, to kind of like, because I need that communication, dude. I like that, like more comments. It's crazy. I'll look at accounts and some people get like 20 or 30 comments on a picture and they won't go back and like the comment and they won't respond to the comment. And they just keep getting likes and comments. You know what I mean? But they don't go back and give those people any kind of, but like I always try to make sure to like and or comment to every comment that I receive, because, you know, if somebody's taking their time to ask, point out, or give a, you know, a proper comment, you know, you should at least give them the like. But yeah, I don't know. I almost wish that Instagram was almost even more personable as far as the communication goes for the reptiles. But it's kind of a fast-paced deal, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but I've formed so many relationships through Instagram and stuff like that, or just people who constantly comment. And then, yeah, I think
Yeah,
I've
that's how
finally
me and you
gotten to the
met.
point. Yeah, I think I'm finally at the point where it's like there's a steady amount of people in my inbox all the time, just kind of talking snakes here and there. And sometimes it
Oh
can
yeah.
get overwhelming, but it's like, I don't know. It's fun to always have a group of people who are interested in talking about snakes, and every once in a while there'll be a new person there talking, asking something about their corn snake or asking about different morphs or stuff like that, and that keeps it fun.
I got a pretty cool corn snake in last week. My brother, Jeremy, you know, Jeremy Brace. I just
Yeah.
call him my brother. He's not really my biological brother, but he's my brother. He produced peppermint tesserae 2 years now, and I think he's probably the only guy with them. I don't know. Do you know anybody else that has them?
I believe I saw.
He said
Why am I
another guy
blanking
had
on their
him and
name?
his warehouse burned down or something, but
Oh,
I
so
don't
that was
know.
probably Tim Magnum. I don't
I
know.
don't
I don't
know.
know if that's public information. So.
It is or is, I don't know the guy's name. I just
Now it
somebody's.
is.
Oh.
Fuck.
Well,
But
I don't know. I didn't say it. You did, but nevertheless, you
you
can
set
edit
me
that
up,
out.
man.
I don't know who it was, but anyway, he sent me a peppermint tesserae, dude. It's cool looking. I'm
Yeah,
gonna raise
those are
that up.
sick. I know there's Blackheart Reptiles, I believe they are, who over here in the Northeast. I know they work with some peppermint stuff, and
Jesus, what is the AC set at? 80? Oh my god.
I
Put
mean
my
it's
hair
like
down.
the peppermints. I mean they start out decent. I mean I like how they look, but they just mature so much better. They just get better with age, and that's not something that always happens, you know.
Yeah.
So what are you doing as far as I saw those Red Bulls, I believe that you posted up, whether it may have been today or just a couple days ago. Did you produce those?
I produced them, yeah. So actually, you were talking about Emily on your sponsors. My kids, I try to get them into reptiles, you know, as much as I can, but I don't want to like force it. Just like I try to get them to wrestle, and I don't want to force it. They wrestle,
Yeah.
but I don't want to make them live it, you know. But I mean, I want to make them live it like I did, or I wish I would have. But nevertheless, they wrestle. But they will only watch Emily on YouTube, and they watch it on their own. I don't even like tell them to watch it or turn it on. They watch a little Dave, you know, but they watch every one of Emily's episodes. And Raylan, so the Red Bull snake, albino bull. I have an regular albino male, and that's was who I paired him to. And Raylan, my oldest, she showed me an episode where Emily has a red albino, and she paired it to an albino bull and only got normals. And I was kind of tripped out. I was like, oh my God, that's like the same pairing I did. Like, you know, it's kind of like Anery type 1, Anery type 2. And somehow I still got all albinos, you know, but the male albino and the red albino female look nothing alike. I need a red albino male, and these things would be even more red. They have a little yellow in them, and it's because that male, who's a killer animal, I bought him from a reputable breeder as a subadult as a female. So much for being a reputable breeder. Sold it to me as a female, showed up as a male. Jackass. Anyway, it turned out to be an amazing clutch, so I'm super stoked about it. And that's the first bull snake clutch, but we have probably, I don't know, 12 now, 12 adults, sub-adults. Next year we'll have probably 6 or 7 litters. So
is that something that you have like a personal interest in particular?
Oh, hell yes. Yeah, isn't that cool? Look at those things.
Dude, I love the way the red albinos look.
Some of them are a lot nicer than the others too. And some of them, it's going to be, I'm waiting for them to shed. You know, I'm going to hold a few back, and I got a long list of people wanting them. You know, I'm probably going to sell 10 to the 13, and there's probably 20 people on the list, but I've learned that you need 30, because if you're going to sell 10, even 30 people on the list, 30 people ain't paying for them. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's the way it's, just tricolor hogs. I've been working my ass off with those this year. And I had, 15 people on the list. And I said, well, okay, I want to get them eating right, because I don't want to sell anything that, someone's going to have to work weird stuff with the food. And all of a sudden, there's 5 people are on the list, and only like 2 people out of those 5 ended up following through. But they were like constantly messaging me, like, is it ready? Is it ready? And then all of a sudden, okay, I'm like, all right, it's ready. And like, oh, never mind. So, and that's fine. Whatever. People have the right to change their mind and stuff. But all I'm saying is I got to take more people than I have available, because you never know who's going to fall off.
Yeah.
That's why I like shows, though, because shows, people just, they're right there, and you don't have to ding around with people.
How much better is it, though, also just to hand someone a snake and not have to go through all the emails back and forth, the tracking information, the insulated boxes, the heat packs, the cold packs? It's so much easier to be at a show.
I mean, I actually usually don't really explain that stuff too much. I just try to tell people, like, hey, I'm in business. I've been doing this a long time. I've yet to ever lose an animal. I don't know about you. I've never shipped an animal that died, and I've never received. I did lose one lizard. A guy sent me a lizard, but that lizard passed a gallstone in shipping. It would have happened if it was there or here. It actually had a gallstone like stuck in its gullet. It was crazy, and like it tore the. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, that's a lot of animals shipped with nothing dying. So I just kind of lay it out there right away. Obviously, like, you don't have to look too far to see that's pretty legit stuff. Seems like people nowadays kind of know. It's not the wild, wild west anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's out there for people to see. So.
But you'd be surprised how many people are still ordering from the first person that comes up on Google, and those are typically kind of.
You don't have to say the names, but
no,
we know who we're talking about.
And because I look at the like BOI groups and stuff like that, it's like, who has bought from here and who's bought from here, and like I'm always kind of surprised how many people just buy from the first person. But then again, there's also a large amount of people who are on Instagram looking for reputable people, on Facebook, all that good stuff. So, I mean, there's people for everyone out there.
When people find that snake they're looking for, dude, they lose their shit, and they pull and they just go for it.
Yeah. The best thing is someone who at first you're like, listen, I don't think this person's that serious, or like this person's kind of young, and then you realize that they're like super into it, and they pull the trigger, and like they're good to go, and they're attentive, and they want to learn everything about the animal. And it's like, yeah, I love just having that experience of someone who's just as excited, more so than even that someone who just buys an animal through my website and doesn't really interact that much.
Oh yeah. So when you do the corn stuff, the corn market's kind of livening up, huh? Seems like a lot of people are looking for corns.
Yeah, I mean, colubrids in general.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where I'm at. You know that.
Yeah.
So I love colubrids. I'm all in on colubrids. I mean, I tried it with boas, dude. I had a terrible year with boas. Terrible year. I still got one boa I expect to drop a litter, but I tried for 3 females. 2 of them didn't work out, and I'm waiting on this 3rd one. But I might just say adios on all that because I did buy into a few more ball python projects. I got some cool clown xanthic stuff going. I like the way that stuff looks, but I wanted the higher end stuff, so I figured if I was going to go ball stuff, I would do that. I got some cool highway stuff too, but I stay away from the balls for the majority of stuff because a lot of people that's all they do is balls, But yeah, I got a ton of milk snakes, a ton of Hondurans, and a ton of really neat Pueblans going, and they're not even up to breeding age. Next year and the year after, I'll have a ton of new stuff that'll breed. And then I got a bunch of Cal Kings that have been still raising up from my first production in 2017 and 2018, those first 2 years. And I got some scaleless corn stuff, that real nice scaleless corn stuff. Nothing with that ridge back, where there's still like some scales.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like those corns that look like that. I like when they actually
Like
scaleless the whole way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we got some of that coming along. Het AML and Het Albino scaleless with a Tessera AML albino. That's Het scaleless. So I'll make AML, Tessera scaleless, albino, Tessera scaleless. It's gonna be cool stuff. So
yeah, there's something about the scaleless and pattern mutations, although I don't work with scaleless and I don't plan to, but still, I mean, it looks so crisp and so clean when you put scaleless into the mix.
Boy.
Oh, you disappeared for 1 second.
Yeah, how do I stop people from calling me?
Oh, damn, that's what happened?
Yeah. There's no way to stop it, huh?
Yeah, no. That's going to happen.
Does it happen a lot?
I mean,
when
you
can.
Do these? No. I mean, usually people are on their computer, or even the people who've had it on their phone. It's rarely happened. I don't know if you can just turn your ringer off. Maybe that is what.
It's already off.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Hopefully not a bunch of people call. Hopefully not a bunch. We'll see.
Yeah, but I love the way that scaleless just looks and makes the patterns crisp and clean. And I don't know if you saw like Don Soderbergh put up this motley corn scaleless that just looked, perfect dots down the center and stuff. Just the scaleless makes it look so much better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Dude, I like scaleless. I didn't when I first saw it. I was like, I'm not for that. I don't really like it. I saw those scaleless balls at first, and I was like, not my thing. And then the corns, they started looking cleaner and cleaner as more were produced. And I was like, I'll get a pair. But I got some palmettos I'm raising up, and then is it Moonshine or Moonbeam? What's the corn?
Moonstone.
Here. Moonstone. Yeah, so this I met this older guy. He's like in his late 70s, and he lived just 20 miles from me. A customer hit me up, and they're like, hey, this older guy, it's got this massive collection of great snakes, and I think you should get a hold of him. He wants to get rid of it all. And I was like, what? I've never heard of this guy. Like, how would I not know this guy even exists? So I hit this guy up. Dude, you name it, he had it. He had the Moonstone corn. He had green anacondas. He had some Burmese. He had a hypo bull. He had a blackhead python. He had an indigo. He had, you name it. Like, he had one of everything, right? And I helped him sell a few things, right? Didn't take any commission. Just hooked him up. He put stuff at my table. He put the price. He got the money. Like, he was a nice guy, old man. I helped him out. But I bought a few animals as well. I bought the Moonstone, and I sent it to Jeremy. It's a nice female, and he got a huge clutch out of her, so I'm getting half of those babies. I'm super stoked about it because it's kind of a rare animal, supposedly, right?
So I believe it's lavender and anery, which, lavender stuff, it seems everyone wants it, but there's really not much going out there. And there's some kind of varying opinions on the lavender stuff, but everyone wants it, and that's a beautiful, beautiful animal.
Oh yeah, and he bred it to, gosh, I couldn't tell you. You got to have him on your podcast, dude. He's all corns. He had 91 corn clutches this year. 91. You guys could get
that makes me sick.
Corns.
Dude, that would make my life clutches. So terrible. Is he full time?
Well, yeah, he's full time. He's a retired military.
Oh, okay. What branch was he in? Do you know?
We're kind of lagging. Your voice is lagging behind. I don't know. I can't remember. Your voice is lagging behind your visual here. Is it me or what?
I
It's
don't know.
after you brought up that moon stone thing.
Okay. I won't mess around too much. But I finally have
You got to better do it
palmettos.
again.
What's that?
I said
God.
maybe you need to do it again to make it go better.
Yeah, I'll just bang on it. I'll bang on the
care.
computer. So I got some palmettos.
Anyway,
finally in the egg. Any day now I should hatch.
Yeah.
Ideally, I should hatch some out. I don't want to say anything, but they're literally due like in the next 3 to 5 days at the very most.
I lost you. I can't hear you.
Shit. Can everyone hear me in the chat? Because I can hear you just fine, and you're right on time. But anyway, I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep on talking until you can hear me in real time. But so palmettos, yeah, I whiffed on them last year, and I'm really hoping that I can finally produce them this
Joe?
year. Yeah, I can hear you fine. And they say in the chat that they can hear both of us. I don't know. Maybe it's a headphone thing. No, it couldn't be. But it doesn't make sense that your audio comes through, but you can't hear me in real time. Thank you, everyone, for the responses in the chat. But if I don't have any palmettos come out of here, I will be super, super bummed. I have some really cool buff stuff that also I hatched out, as well as some het palmetto motley stuff that I'm really, really enjoying the look of. A lot of really new stuff this year. I kind of, although it may not have been the most advantageous to maybe the bottom line or whatever you want to call it, I really mixed it up in the pairings just to really get some new stuff, because I've been producing too much of the same things for the last 2 years, to be honest. So I wanted to mix it up, even though I have a lot of the same animals. I have a few animals that grew up into breeding size, but largely the same pairings going on. But I just decided to get all willy-nilly with the pairing. So I got things like this really cool het palmetto motley, which is also het honey and possible het ghost. So I just said, screw it. Let's go for palmetto honeys one day. So that will be my big thing in the future. And I actually got a tessera motley, het palmetto, het honey. So if you guys don't know, het palmetto is actually an incomplete dominant. So that's why I say het palmetto motley, and then I say het honey, possible het ghost. I know that's super confusing. I'm sorry. That's just the way they were named. All right. How you doing, Shane? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yep. No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah, man. I hear you perfectly fine. Maybe just it's a headphone thing. And James, I do have a butter motley female from Austin at Ragebeard Reptiles, and he actually, I believe, has made some more in the last few years. So yeah, butter motleys is definitely a thing. Sulfur, yes. Can you hear me?
Fuck.
Damn it.
Shit.
Sulfurs. I actually took a break and I didn't make sulfur / fire clutch this year, and I kind of mixed it up a little bit, which I'm pretty cool. Make sure that you're not muted or anything. I guess it's no use in me talking to him if he can't hear me. But here, I will drop him out. But yeah, I also today, and I guess I haven't really made this public unless you looked at my Instagram stories, but So there they were slightly pipped, that one egg, and now that one egg is still slightly pipped, but I have a Louisiana pine snake head out of there. Did I not put that in the stream? I hope I put that in the stream. I think I did. Anyway, hope you guys can hear that, as well as some other babies that we hatched out. We have some ghost stuff coming up. This one in particular is a coral ghost. So me and Laura's in the chat right now. We were kind of talking about how to tell our regular ghosts from coral ghosts. And as you can see, at least mine tend to always, and mine are always lighter in coloration. My female is very, very light in coloration. And my male is my coral ghost. And they always have this pink and purple blushing over here and on the head. And just generally, you'll get real slight, subtle hints of pink, in which I find that my regular ghosts, I have much more of an anery look, a much darker look than this guy right here. Also, oh, here you go. Look, here's a regular ghost. That's a dark one. That's a dark one. Ooh, I picked up fox snakes, which is a really, really cool project that I'm super, super excited about. It's Chris Montrose of Dark Horse Horticulture produced these guys. And these are the Western variety. And these ones in particular are from Nebraska. And yeah, I got a pair of them, and I'm just about to feed them for the first time tonight. And I'm super excited to work with them. They're really fun so far. It's a corn snake Pituophis mix. It's a really, really cool little snake. But hopefully Chris can breed the Eastern variety, and I can pick those up in another year or so. Here's a cool fire tester that I have up on the website right now. Obviously, potential mask, but look at that. I don't know, is this a panda or is it a scream mask? I don't know. You tell me. But Shane, can you hear me? Amazing. We did it.
Fucking Corona, bro.
That's what it was.
Fuck, what happened?
I don't know. They got us.
You need a better server.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've done hundreds
terrible.
of these.
I'm sorry, man. That's never happened before?
No, not once. I'm
God.
not going to lie to you.
It never has?
No. We definitely had some connectivity issues, and it's always on, or at least I always blame it on the other person. Maybe it's not always the other person, but.
I'm sure it's these headphones, fucking Apple. Well, I'm sure you entertained everybody. It gave me a chance to get pissed off, so I'm sure we're going to have a good podcast now. I'm all fired up.
Yeah, I mean, what are some hot topics I can get you more pissed off about? I don't know. I don't know your buttons. I don't know your reptile
buttons. That was good. Buttons. We got it right there. I'm ready. Man, that was anyway.
So what else you got?
We got these AirPods, and I've had some issues with them. So anyway, sorry guys.
I think James Lewis was asking earlier. He was asking what you have your tricolored hognose on, and kind of what's your process of getting feeding wise. Sorry. So what are they feeding on?
So what I have them on for bedding is a cypress cocoa mix type deal, but mainly just cypress, right? If you do cocoa, I think they end up ingesting too much of it because it kind of coats the food items. I try to feed them on, what I do is I wet a paper towel and I fold it up into like 3 or 4 squares, and then I lay it in there, and then I put the food item on that, and they usually eat it off that. But that's adults and babies. The babies actually are kept on moist towels for like 4 weeks until they've had several meals. I'll tell you what, the tricolors won't eat until they're like 2 or 3 weeks old. And the best way, man, you can try like any kind of gecko scent, fish scent, tuna sauce, whatever. That shit does not work. The best way is take a trout or a salmon or a steelhead, go catch a fish. Not many people know how to do that anymore these days, but you take a stick with a line and a worm and a sharp hook. Anyway, you go catch a fish and you take the head and the guts and put it in a plastic bag. Or you can go buy a whole fish, probably from somewhere, and put it in a plastic bag and freeze it. You take your pinky and you rub it inside, like the whole fish, inside it, on the guts. Salmon, trout, steelhead. or if you have the bag of guts and the head. Man, that's, the kind of metallic smell, like when you clean a fish. I don't know if you're a fisherman, but the smell of like fish blood and guts, they go crazy, man. They eat like that. I mean, a friend of mine taught me this. He said he's hatched 500 of them and he's lost 2.
Whoa, that's impressive.
It is impressive. So
that's better than corn snakes.
I know. I mean, you're right. Yeah, corn snakes even kind of struggle, right? You have to do the boiled pinky once in a while, live pinky, whatever. I mean, hognose people do the Vienna sausage sauce. They do the live pinky. They do the tuna juice. They do. Dude, I had a hognose that only ate tadpoles. I had a hognose that only ate a gecko wrapped pinky. I had a hognose that would not eat anything, and then I tried a live pinky right from nursing. I mean, it sounds kind of brutal, but literally from nursing to the tub, like boom. And that milk smell, ate. That thing was on death's doornail. It was baby born here. It would not eat anything. It would just hiss and run away. I tried live. I tried this, try that. You don't want to try to feed hognose live. It's just not. It's not the best, and they usually get stuck on it if you do. But that nursing pinky, that milk.
Oh, you got another call. Maybe it's the call that messed us up.
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe. I should have shut the notification for calls off. If I should shut that off, but anyway, what was I saying? But no, like if you take a fish, that's the secret, man. That is the secret. I've had 100% success rate, and they don't play around either. And I've only had to do it like twice, and then pinky with no scent, and they take it. So
yeah, that's great.
What's interesting about the tricolors is you can pop them. When the westerns, you really can't pop them. But the tricolors, their tails are much like corns and kings. Their scales are much more like they're not you know what I mean, like their body shape, and they have the same head as a western, but their body, the way their scales are, they're not keeled, So.
And how is it as far as breeding goes? I mean, how many females you have? How many males you have?
So I only have 1 male and 4 females. And what I do is I feed every 3rd day, which is not like a western. A western you feed like every 5 to 7 days. So every 3rd day I feed, and when I feed, I just move the male. So he goes in his own tub to eat, but on every 3rd day he's moving to another female. And he's actually grown through the breeding season, so he's not been hard on him. People have said, "Oh, you're going to burn him out." He hasn't lost weight. He's actually gotten much larger. When I started the breeding season, he was actually fairly small. Now he's like fairly large. So I would have liked to have 2 though. That way he was just going between two females. This year I'll hold back a male, and next year it'll be ready. They only take a year. Males only take 6 to 8 months to mature.
That's wild.
I'm sure somebody would complain. Yeah. So that was my most recent clutch.
And I was about to say, they have usually like multiple clutches, right? It's not uncommon.
That was her 5th clutch.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Every one of those eggs is fertile. Every one of those eggs is fertile. And that male's been breeding 4 females all season, and he's still pushing out fertile clutches. Isn't that amazing? It's proper feeding. If people fed him once a week, I think they wouldn't do well at all. So.
And how often are you feeding them, like after they lay and stuff?
Oh, you're
like
lagging
that?
again. See, you pulled up that Instagram.
See, I'm trying to get fancy. So how often are you feeding, say, a female that just laid, as well as the breeding males? And also, forgot what else I was going to ask, but we can go from there.
Every 3rd day, but if they lay, I thaw 3 hoppers out as soon as I find the eggs. That's why, like in that picture, she's eating before I even pull the eggs. So if I find eggs, I go immediately and thaw three hoppers out.
And as far as how long have you had
Yeah.
them, and like what is the typical season? I mean, how long is there between clutches?
Just probably 4 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. I've been raising them for I don't know, 2 years maybe. I bought a pair from Dan Aby, and I traded a female for my trio of Abronia to a friend of mine locally, and then I bought that male I have is not one of the ones I got from Dan though, and then I bought my male from someone else because his het hypo E, and then which some of the females I have are obviously het as well because I did make a hypo E baby. So
I didn't even know that existed, to be honest.
oh, dude, I can't hear you again.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was a hypo tricolor. No. And what I really want to ask
See if
is
that Instagram thing's running in the background.
Anything different right now? Hello, hello, hello.
I'll leave and come right back.
Okay. This is going swimmingly. It's really not that bad. But yeah, I didn't know that there was a hypo tricolor hognose. I wonder what that looks like. In my opinion, I mean, the tricolor hognose are already really, really, really cool looking. So I think a hypo will probably only dampen the natural look of the animal. And there he is. All
Dude,
right, let's see how this goes.
I hear you just fine. It's something to do when you pull up that Instagram, I think.
So the people in the comments are saying put your phone in airplane mode.
Okay, let's see.
And I don't know. They're smarter than me, so.
It's in airplane mode, but we'll see.
There you go. So yeah, did you have to repair the animals? Did you have to put that male with the female?
Yeah, I continually pair them. Absolutely.
So that male's going to work.
Yeah, he's breeding. He's breeding, but he's eating a lot. You know, I was kind of worried about it, but I monitor him and watch, and he's like growing. He's not being, like, I don't know if you're familiar with hognose in general, but if a male's, they kind of become soft if they're like losing muscle mass from breeding and stuff. Dude, this guy's like a stallion. He's getting stronger. He's getting bigger. But I was going to tell you something about, when you're double clutching corn snakes, how many corn snakes do you have that double clutch?
I usually don't try.
So I don't try either, right? Everybody tells me, you got to double clutch your kings. So 2 of mine double clutched on their own, right? And I was pretty upset because, not upset, that's a terrible word to use. I guess I was disappointed because I saw the one female double clutching and I didn't repair her. But Jeremy told me, don't pair for a double clutch because you could push the snake to a double clutch. She may not be capable of that on her own, and then you're asking too much of her, you could kill her. But if she's going to do it on her own, let her do it on her own. If she gives you viable eggs, great. If she doesn't, toss them. And I said, well, if you see her ovulating and starting to build follicles for a double clutch, why not pair her? And he said, okay, well, at that point, you could pair her. But don't pair and push a double clutch. And I thought to myself, he's got a good point. Don't push a double clutch. A lot of people do. They're pushing hard for double clutches on all these colubrids. So 2 of my Cal Kings double clutched on their own. One gave me 5 perfect eggs, and the other one gave me 4 duds. And the first one that double clutch was the one that gave me 4 duds, and I was kind of like, son of a bitch, like that's 4 snakes that could have been. I mean, I could have whatever kept them back. I could have gave them away. I could have sold them, whatever. It's not about the money. It's just about the life. Like, that's 4 eggs that are going in the garbage, like, what a bummer. I could have done something cool with them. I could have helped somebody get started, whatever. I do a lot of that. I give snakes away all the time. Ridiculous. And I didn't, I just let it go to shit. And then the next one, I saw it happening, and I was like, I'm not going to pair her, because she was the first one that my male was paired to. So I figured she would, if anybody had enough, she would be able to do it. And sure enough, she laid 5 perfect eggs. And they bounced back tremendously, just perfect, But
so that's similar to what I would do. So
he made a good point, though. Like, don't push for the double clutch, just allow it to happen. So
I think the people who are really successful with double clutching all the time are people who probably start out with pretty obese animals. And I don't know if that is really like a good long-term solution. Because I mean, and mine will double clutch occasionally, but it's just the females who are ready to do it, right? And like half of them will lay slugs, probably 75% will lay slugs, and 25% will give me viable eggs, and it will be like 4 eggs instead of like 12 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is the 2 cow kings that gave me the double clutches are the 2 smallest cow kings I have. Not big. They were actually I was thinking, maybe I shouldn't breed them. Maybe I should, but if they're taking retired breeder adult female mice, if they can take those down, then I'll breed them. If they can take those down, I'll breed them. So I get those from this guy that I get my frozen rodents from. So once in a while he'll have like a pack of 50 retired breeders. Those things are friggin' huge, And if they can take those down, then I'll go ahead and breed them. But anyway, those double clutched, I was pretty stoked about the one, and it was the that first high white group that had hatched like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. That's the same female. So I love the cow kings. It's like, I just love them.
I could get rid of love them.
I could get rid of everything and just have cow kings.
For me, man, they're obnoxious. I don't know. They latch on to me.
Bite.
Yeah, they just don't want to let go. Even my Eastern king snake, she launched out of the tub and bit me in the foot while I was feeding her. Dude, another time she came out and did that, and I jumped up on a chair real quick. But the second time she got me. Dude, right on the foot. I don't like getting
bit by snakes. I really don't.
Me either.
I breed snakes. I tell people all the time, like, I'm not gonna act like I don't. Like, I see people that act like zombies and they stand there and get bit and they think it's funny or whatever. Like, dude, I'll do everything I can not to get bit. I handle and ding around with all these snakes. I do not want to get bit. Like, I don't care. I don't mind the hognose and lizard bites. Like, I don't care about the lizard bites. They don't bother me, except for that Ackie that bit me. That thing tore me up. It
was an adult?
My finger. No, well, yeah, it was like a almost adult male. This thing was a tame Ackie. A friend of mine asked me if I could ship it for him, so I go get it, and he had it in this crappy old Reptile Basics bag. It was like 10 years old, and the threads were hanging on it. So I got it home and I opened it up. I look in there, and the Ackie was wrapped around the threads, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. So I got a brand new bag down, and I'm like trying to untangle it from the bag, and it bites my finger so hard. And dude, I'm like, like I couldn't believe the pressure. And it's like hanging on my finger, and then in my hand, I'm holding it like this, and I can feel the blood just cold and drip, like warm but cold, dripping down my hand. And it would literally, I'm like, holy shit, this thing is biting me as hard as it can. And then all of a sudden it bite harder, and I was like, oh my God, how's it biting me harder? And then I was like, holy shit, it's biting me as hard as it can. And then all of a sudden it bite me harder, and I was like, oh my God, it's biting me as hard as it can. And every time it bite, it'd slide. It would slide more and more. I told my wife, I said, grab some paper towels for me, please. And she goes to get it like on our snake cart in the garage. I go, no, go in the house. I go, this is really bad. My finger's going to be opened up. And she goes, oh, no, it won't. And I go, I swear to God, this is going to be horrible. And then I go, look. And I grabbed my wrist and I squeezed it. and the blood just literally just went. And she goes, "Oh my God!" And she like runs in the house, comes back with so much warm, wet paper towels, and like I finally get the Aki off, and I turn around, I went like this with my finger and opened it up, and she covers her eyes, and blood's just everywhere, dude. This Aki's head's like the size of my thumb, and we had to open it up. And the bone was like literally right there, dude. It was so crazy. The amount of pain. My finger still hurts 4 months later, like just going like this. Like,
so did you do anything for it? You just wrap it up?
No, I just cleaned it up and wrapped it up. And it peeled for 2 months.
That's how you know it's good.
It was weird, dude. And the garage floor was just covered in blood. Like, looks like somebody got stabbed with a fingernail file, you know, like it was wild. But I'd still much rather take that bite than like a bite from the false water cobras, which chase you, by the way. They're just brutal. I tell people that and they don't believe me. You open the tub and like look over your shoulder and they're like coming for you and you're like running away.
How many falsies do you have?
3 adult trio.
Nice.
Dude,
have you gotten a shot to breed them?
They weren't. Well, they're probably just coming into the size this year, and they just shed. Both females just shed a few days ago. Last year, a buddy of mine got eggs in July, so there's a good chance that could still maybe get a clutch or 2. But I don't know. I mean, I feed them really well and take good care of them. I keep big, huge things of water in there for them because they love the water. Like, it's crazy. I've seen people keep like water cups inside there, and mine have tubs, like, you know, like the black tubs. You know what I'm talking about, the cement tubs?
Mm-hmm.
I keep them in the boa racks. I don't know what are those, like 4 feet by 4 feet, and they're like 12 inches tall or maybe even 14. And I have the cement mixing tub in there, and dude, I go in there and they're like, but every time you open the tub, they're like, food, and then like pop up like this, and they come out like a frozen rope, and dude, they hood, and the male specifically, like he'll come out and like, I don't know. I was telling another guy on Instagram about it, and he was like, holy shit, dude. He goes, did somebody tell you my story? Because I told him mine chases me. And he goes, people tell me that's not true and I'm making it up. He goes, it makes me feel so good that you're like telling me that, because I tell people that and they call me a liar. I'm like, I'm telling you, bro. A big, hungry male that's breeding, like.
And I mean, they're sizable,
dominant.
Right? I mean, how big is he?
7 feet.
Yeah,
he's like
that's a lot.
This big around, you know. I mean, it's interesting, bro. But once he realizes it's not food, then he's cool, you know. Then you can kind of go back and forth, and then occasionally he'll be like, and then like you're like, whoa, motherfucker. Surely ain't no corn snake, bro.
Have you been bit?
No, I haven't been bit. He's definitely opened his mouth to come down. Like, it's so weird the way their mouth opens too. It's almost like, it doesn't look like a regular snake's mouth, because it's like, I mean, it's rounded, but the way it opens, it's so weird. It's almost like it wants to take like I don't know. It's like weird. It's almost like it's just a weird little deal. I don't know.
Have you seen like the lavenders?
I feel like it belongs in a movie. Michael has a bunch of lavenders, and so does Jeremy, the guy with the corns.
See, those
I
bet
people are laughing at me,
cool.
or when they listen to this, they're gonna be like, "This guy's a pussy. He's full of shit." I don't care. Laugh at me. I'll stick to, dude. I'll handle my bull snakes, and they hiss and open their mouth, and I'll reach in and touch their head, and they'll strike at me and bump me, and I don't. Dude, it's just something about those false waters, bro. And I tell you what, when they hood up, it doesn't look like a cobra. It's identical to a cobra. When I first got interested in them, that hood, people say, oh, it imitates. It's kind of like a cobra. If they're pissed off enough and flat out enough, dude, that thing is as wide as a cobra. Like, it's exactly the same. It's pretty awesome, really.
And I know that they're rear fang venomous, so I don't really want to be bitten by one. I don't want to figure out how toxic it is.
There's this crazy YouTube video. This guy's got this female. He's kind of like an older biker looking guy, if I remember. I could be way off. He could
sounds like a lot of snake guys.
He gets this female out. First, he rubs hand sanitizer all over him because she bites so much. But
just to try to not smell like food or something.
Well, when she bites him like 15 times, like but like she's getting hand sanitizer in her mouth, and then she stops. But it's never like a gnaw bite. It's like a pinch bite. And then he's like, "See, she stopped." But meanwhile, he's got like 15 bites on his arms. It was like,
what?
It was so weird. I saw that like years before I got these.
So that's how you knew it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's get me some of these.
They're super popular, and if you get them when they're babies, they're super chill. But I got mine. I got my male last year at Sacramento for a trade, and I got my females also for a trade, a 3-way trade with 2 friends. So yeah, finding sub-adult and adult snakes are always fun. Somebody else is scared of them, so then you get stuff that's kind of wiry.
Yeah, that's never. I mean, typically you're not getting the best animal in one way or another. There's always kind of a surprise in it for you.
But to be quite honest with you, I'm obviously having fun talking shit on the podcast, but they are actually pretty fun, and they need daily, if not every other day, interaction as far as like pulling the water because they shit in their water. So, I mean, honest, and as far as like interaction goes, there's quite a bit of interaction there because we got to pull the water, clean up their shit. I mean, they're quite messy, believe it or not, and they still haven't bit me, but they just show like that, that kind of like a, like, hey, motherfucker, we're here, But I'm also not going to stand there and put my hand up to its mouth like, hi, and get smacked either. But they're fun, dude. I would like to get them. I feel like if you had like a front door opening cage and reached in, it would be not so good. But the fact that I can come in above them and pick them up with my hand, like in their midsection, it probably helps. It's not a snake that you'd want to like grab like this. You know what I mean? Like some snakes that you can come in.
It doesn't seem like a snake that would like wrap around your hand or anything. It seems like it would just end up being a weird.
It wants to take
rope.
off. Yeah. It want to take off. That's why it's a treadmill snake, but there's going to be somebody that watches this and be like, he's wrong. Mine's tame, well, probably is, but mine are nutty.
No, we've had like Zach Loftman on the podcast. He does a lot of work with false water cobras. And wow, I said water the Philly way. That was bad.
Yeah, you said it. I heard it. Water.
Water. Yeah, but I mean, I know so many people who really love those animals, but it is one of those animals where it's like, yeah, you gotta be down with that kind of husbandry, whether it be like the going to the bathroom or something that's going to give you a good defense, at least a pose, which is, I mean, really what people love about them.
What's that?
That defense posture. I mean, that's really why, that's why so many people are interested in them.
Well, I go in there all the time and come from above and pet their head and then never turn and like show any kind of aggression. But if you were to come from underneath, I'm sure they would get a little snap or something. But that whole rack is dry marcon and false water, and it has to be dealt with 3, if not 4 days a week as far as fresh water and scooped and stuff, because the dry marcon and the false water is just poop, and we got to keep things clean. That's just standard.
What dry marcon are you working with?
I got 5 Cribos, black-tailed Cribos. I got a pair of, got 100% het, exanthic male, 2 66% exanthic females, and then I have unknown as far as, I don't know if she's het exanthic or not, female, but she's mottled, and then I got my mottled male. So last year it's my first time breeding. I only had the pair, and I got 14 eggs, but only 5 were fertile, which is, I think that's kind of common. Maybe it's not, but I also was kind of learning, like, you breed them like way sooner than they lay eggs. It's not like in spring you breed them and they ovulate and lay eggs. It's like you breed them in like December, January, and then they lay eggs in like April. So anyway, we didn't breed them this year because we moved the collection into a bigger space in an attempt to kind of like grow. I got all new racks and stuff. And really, we're kind of stuck yet again. Last year when we talked, we were stuck in a spot. Now we're stuck again. We're trying to figure out a way to move, either get a facility or move to some property so I can build a shop, like a real big shop, like a, you know how I do it, like big ass facility, like not a half-ass bullshit one, like with an office and the whole works,
So right now, are you mostly in the basement?
No, the whole garage. The whole garage is
Okay.
set up. We don't have a basement here. Our house was built in 2009. I wish I would have had them put a big ass sink in the garage, and there's just no way to add one, and that's a pain in the ass. So we have to wash everything on the outside, which is fine, but it just makes it a little harder. But we moved everything to the garage for expansion because as everything is growing, I had to get bigger racks and stuff, and get rid of all the old, not old, they were brand new, but I already sold all those brand new racks that I bought 2 years ago, sea serpents and stuff, all those nice racks. The only racks I have that I bought originally are all my hatchling racks. They're the only things that were still basically, usable as far as in the situation I was in, as far as had to buy like all vision racks, but even then now I want to get rid of those and get all ARS. But there's this new company out of Sacramento. I'm waiting to see what they come out. They got racks coming out. They're on Instagram. I can't think of their name. You've probably seen them. They got like a yellow shield. You seen that company?
No, I don't think so.
Your people in your comments probably are saying it right now.
Come on, people.
You guys know what I'm talking about on Instagram? There's a new reptile company in Sacramento. It's got a yellow shield that starts with an L. I'm following them on my Instagram. It's like Liguini or Laguardi or something like that. They sell like everything, bro. And they came out with some really nice reptile racks. But COVID slowed it down because of components being made in China and stuff.
Do they look like
that. I shouldn't say that. I don't know that for a fact, but
do they look like are they CNC'd or are they like just hand built?
No, I believe they look. There's pictures of them on there. They look like AR. Like I can't say. I don't know. Like I don't want to say they look like anything. The guy might not appreciate it. I think they look awesome.
Lugardi,
yeah.
See
the rack pictures on there.
Yeah, shout out to Jennifer Strickland in the comments. She got it first.
Oh, okay. You see the racks on their page?
They have. I've definitely seen their products before, and they're definitely doing a lot of different things.
Dude, just their casters look badass. I mean, they even came out with their own caster. Hopefully they give me a percentage off for throwing their name out on this podcast, bro. But
they are,
first off, they're West Coast, so I can drive down there. It's 9 hours, and I can pick up all these racks. So I'm waiting for that because I don't want to have to pay all the shipping prices have all this shit shipped to me from the East Coast or Midwest or where all these other companies ship from. But I need to buy like 4 or 5 of these high-end racks. I'm talking to spending like, 10, 11, 12. 12 bands, bro. I'm going to spend 12 bands. I'm talking about spending 12 bands.
What do you do as far as how attentive are you with like the finances of everything, as far as like what do you spend on like your show displays, on caging and all that? Is that something that you actually plan out?
the show displays, all that stuff's paid for. It's all paid. What do you mean, like
do you have a set amount of money that you're ready to invest in things like show displays? Because I'm always trying to work with whatever money I make is usually going to rodents. Usually, occasionally I'll throw it to enclosures, and I'm kind of all willy-nilly with it, and I need to be more organized. So I was wondering if you're more organized or you're doing the same shit.
I keep a ledger of what's spent. I don't necessarily keep a ledger of what can be spent where, but I definitely protect. I'm not like, this money goes wherever it goes, I'm like pretty smart about it. But as far as like, what's that Jurassic Park saying? I spare no expense or whatever when it comes to shows. Dude, I'll spend some money to make the shows look right. I mean, I bought a $1,200 light, just for my.
That's
dude.
nuts.
I bought this $1,200 light because everybody's got these $30 desk lamps, and I'm like, bullshit. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a $1,200 jewelry lamp, like, and then people came over. They're like, other vendors like, will you turn that off? It's very blinding. I'm like, go back to your fucking booth. You wish you had this light. It's blinding because it's fucking making my snake's back shine. It's not putting off any heat. Like, it just makes everything pop. That's why it's blinding. Dude, it's beautiful. It's a hell of an investment. I can't turn it down. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. It looks killer. It like shoots both ways. It's 8 feet each direction. Dude, it's just awesome. But yeah, a bunch of people come and ask me to turn it down, turn it in a different direction. Like they couldn't help but like look into the sun.
See, that's where I need a little bit.
Like, it's not even in their eyes, but they couldn't help but stare at it. Like,
I need a little bit more of your attitude, because my show display kind of blows. I haven't put enough money into it. I just buy animals. I'm too worried about buying animals in enclosures.
oh man,
I don't put
show
enough
display
into
looks pretty good. Like I said, I got those new table runners. I need to throw those up. Greg Power, right?
Yes.
Greg Power gave me some inside stuff a week ago, 2 weeks ago, when we were talking. We talk on the phone once in a while, and I was like, fuck, that's happening. That's happening, because we're far enough apart. He's down in Texas. He's one of my good homies, and he hooked me up with some ideas, and that was one I was almost disgusted in myself for not already knowing. You know what I mean? I was like, oh shit, that one's in it. That's in the books. But I don't know. You kind of have a unique setup, dude. The chalk thing, like, and the square delis, like.
But I don't have a banner. I don't have a table runner. I don't have like the things that you should have.
You don't need a table runner because the way your delis are set up. I don't think. But what you could do? You could do a table runner, and you could do a pop-up banner, and then you could ship that stuff, and you could come to a show in Portland overnight by just shipping it and not use your chalk deal. You know what I mean? And people buy corn snakes here. You know what I mean? But especially down in California, so much corn snakes get sold down there. It's crazy. I don't know what it's like in Pennsylvania and all the shows you do over there, but
I do all right. But I mean, I thought this year was going to be
Port City Pet. The Port City Pythons drove you nuts for a long time. You always brought it up in several conversations to me. I always liked the Python, but you fixed your deal.
People are smart asses. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would have told them to shove it.
Yeah, I guess it got people talking. It was all right, but I'm excited to be Port City Pet, and I need to show out a little bit more. And get all new stuff.
Well, no, I'm going to say now that what I was getting at is now that you fixed something that was bothering you for a while, and now it's all fixed up. Now you can get your banner. But Vistaprint, dude, banners are so cheap, dude. Yeah. I had three banners before I settled. And they were only like $60 a piece. And, now I got the one banner I have 4 of them, and I just push them all together. So they're pop-up banners. And I bought a table. So when I put them up, they're 8 foot. It lifts them up 3 feet, and then I put them up. So they go up 11 feet, But bought a Costco table.
I spent literally most weeks like thousands of dollars, and I haven't bought $60 banners. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
cheap,
something
bro.
I haven't done, and I feel shitty for not doing it. But I mean, there's no
I
shows
feel
going on
shitty.
right
It all
now,
comes in
and
time. I don't have deli displays, bro.
mm,
I bought a deli display from a guy. Has like 100 spots or 50 spots. It's like something from 1992. It had the plastic thing that goes over the top of it. It was scratched all hell, so I drilled the rivets out and tossed them. And I painted it with enamel refrigerator paint, white, because my tablecloths are black, and my colors are silver, white, and black. And I went down to San Diego, and I'm always saying no one's going to steal from me, and I can't wait till they do. And not San Diego, Sacramento. And some kids showed up, and I give away kids shirts at the shows because I pay $3 or $4 a piece. And I turned around to pull some kids shirts and hand them out, and turned around, and the fucking corner deli closest to the floor was gone. Dude, it was a turd snake, like a snake that was like some random like not no snake's a turd, but you know what I mean. It wasn't
yeah,
like a morph or anything. It wasn't like a high dollar value. A snow boa was one deli above it,
mm,
but it was like a normal boa that I was selling for a friend for like $100, and somebody came through and popped it from below, grabbed it, and ran. And I was giving shirts away to kids, man. I was
yeah,
taking a
shitty.
loss,
Yeah,
like I was giving 3 T-shirts away for like a $14 loss. I mean, I don't think of it as a loss. I give T-shirts away, so what? That's what I do. But somebody stole that damn snake, and I always said, I can't wait till somebody tries. But I always thought somebody would try when I was looking, not when I wasn't.
yeah, that would be a little bit more convenient. But
Yeah, I was all.
I don't think anyone's ready to trifle with you, dude.
Yeah, well, I went around for 45 minutes looking for that deli cup.
And I know I typically I put the cheapest animals at the bottom row, even though
Yeah.
usually my setup's usually recessed a little bit back on the table. All the cheap stuff's on the bottom. The most expensive stuff is towards the top. Not that someone still couldn't snatch something, but I don't know. I'm always worried about it. But yeah, but
Well, what
I
I was
always
getting
keep
at is,
underneath the table clear in case something has to happen. Because I will go under the table and I will chase someone.
yeah, there you go.
Just because.
Well, what I was getting at was I still haven't bought decent deli displays though. I mean, I want everybody went to those 3-tier displays, and I had 2 of them, right? And I try not to feed animals for the week of the show because they crap in the deli cup or the deli display or the display. So if the show is Saturday, Sunday, I try not to feed after like Monday, Tuesday. Like I'll feed them
Mhm.
Sunday when I get home, because if you feed after Monday, hopefully if you feed Sunday, they're kind of pooping by Thursday or Friday. But even then, they're probably gonna shit Saturday or Sunday. I try not to poop. I try not to. I try not to feed them for like 7 days so they don't shit that weekend. And basically, I have those tiered displays that people put rice in, beans in, sand in, paper in. They have those corners are almost impossible to clean, man. You use like a
Yeah.
Q-tip and alcohol. I traded those for a snake to somebody because I could not do it anymore. I was like, these are trash. I do not like them. I like the delis. Snake shits in it. You can either wipe it out with a baby wipe, or you can put it in the garbage and put a brand new one out.
Honestly, the tiered displays, they work a lot better. I mean, the first 2 tiers work a lot better. Well, they all work a lot better for ball pythons, but like first 2 tiers, you can see a corn snake. You get up to like the third one, corn snakes are kind of too small. You're kind of seeing them from the side, and you're not really getting the full picture of it. And yeah, I like the delis. I mean, it works.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
well, I think the
it makes
delis are
our
much
lives
better.
easier.
People hate the delis, but dude, those 3-tier deals, you look like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, people the one thing people say when we're at the shows is, "Oh, I like your display," just because it's different. It's not because it's nice. It's just because it's different.
Yeah. Well, there's some guy in I don't know if it's Tinley. I've never been to Tinley, or if it's California. that he does a display where you can like walk behind the display, and his animals are like almost look like a zoo display the way he sets it up. I saw it on YouTube on Dave Kaufman's channel.
Wait, is it the monitor guy, Rare Earth?
No, he does. I don't know. It was Retix. It was Retix. I like the way he set it up, and he had the sea serpents racks heated, so he could like give his snakes a rest, or he had them locked in there at night. I mean, that was cool, man. Like this guy, I respect that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always thought about doing the recessed booth, meaning like taking your spot and then putting the 2 tables and then 1 table at the back. So you take up 3 tables, and it's like people walk into your show display, which I thought was always an interesting idea. I wouldn't know how to keep people from stealing shit, but it would probably
work. If
you
had dry goods, if you're a dry goods booth, that'd be really the way to go. I think. But how the ISOPOD deal probably sells a ton of shows, doesn't it?
Dude, I haven't really been able to give it a fair shot. Like I did one show kind of half-assed with the isopods. Now it's like I could really crush a show as far as what kind of isopods I have and kind of the prices that I can give people. And yeah, I don't know what people realize also, like at shows, isopods are super expensive. Like what I sell online, it's much cheaper than what people sell at shows. And then when I did bring them out to shows, people kind of were giving me the stank eye because they were cheaper. But I mean, that's what prices were online. So that's what I did it. But yeah, I think I'd do well at a show. But
I see him selling at shows all the time. Crazy amounts.
Yeah.
Like, well, not crazy amounts, but I mean, crazy amounts as in volume, not dollar amount. I don't know what the dollar amount is, but it seems like 1,000 little babies, or maybe it's, or 100 little babies sell for like 15 or 25 bucks or something, or
I don't have anything that goes that cheap. So like say, I
maybe
mean, I would
it's
bring
20 or 50. I don't know what it is.
Even like
I just see it's like little
animals.
containers.
Yeah, the cheapest animals, I mean, for 12 powdered oranges or something, it's going to be, you're looking at least $15. If you're talking about like 12 clowns, you're looking at like $40. So
Jesus,
it's significant, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. What I say, 1,000?
Like I can tell you, I can tell you numbers off the podcast.
Dude, I was just at my parents just have this beach property, and I was there turning a fence post around, and we were burning up this old fence, and man, you see the isopods coming out of this fence post. I bet nobody's even seen those kinds. Washington Coast isopods. They look like little flat helmets.
Dude, you'd be surprised. Like you can find like different color phases and stuff like that, like just right in your backyard.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've seen those cow ones. Those are pretty cool. I'd like to have some for the Persina cage, but I think they'd eat them all. I bet they would.
I mean, you can get like dwarf whites, in which they're going to be too small for them to eat, but they don't do too much. Or buy, just ones that they're going to snack on and, replenish them.
Not if they cost that goddamn much.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You got to get a culture start going. You got to start your own culture and just have them, replenish themselves.
Jesus. I can't believe they cost that much. Somebody gave me a bunch for trade for something. Like, I don't remember what it was. And I just tell people, because, okay, whatever. Like, take what you need. I don't know. Like, something that I didn't want or didn't want to take home. So I took this isopod container, and I looked in there, and I seen, like, a bunch of white lice. And I was like, oh, that's great. Like, I want this. So I came home, and I had, like I didn't know. And I had, like, this container or this Exoterra with some red-eyed tree frogs in it and stuff, and dumped it in there, and I seen them moving around. There was a ton of them in there. And a couple months later, somebody came over, and they're like, oh, I want these red-eyed tree frogs. And I was like, take them. I don't want them. Like, I don't remember where I got them from, but I'm not a tree person, a frog person. I mean, I like trees, but
not frogs and trees.
They're like, oh, can I have the whole setup? And I was like, oh, you can have the frogs and you can have the fogger. But I'm keeping the cage. And they took the fogger, which is probably, who knows what that thing was worth. I wish I had it back for those Persina. That's for sure. That would have been nice. But I remember dumping that bedding out back, and seeing all those isopods, so many of them. And I was like, whatever. There's hundreds
Hundreds
of
of
them.
dollars.
Yeah, I had no idea at the time because I wasn't interested in them and I didn't know, like, but they'd been in there for months and they were just breeding, you know. And when I got them, they were in like a butter container. And the guy originally gave them to me because he was breeding all these isopods. And they were like, you know, these little teeny white bugs. And when I dumped them out, they were like, you know, and there's tons of them. I had sphagnous moss in there and rocks and logs and stuff. And I couldn't believe how many isopods there were in there. But you never really saw them when you looked in the cage. Only when you disturbed it did you all of a sudden see all these isopods.
Yeah, I think people think all the time that they, you know, all their isopods are gone out of their enclosure, and then all of a sudden you lift up, you know, a water bowl or something like that, and there's a shit ton in there.
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel like I should have probably kept those.
You know, that's the thing about
populating my backyard.
That's the thing about all the things that we work with, right? There's the prices and the values are kind of made up in so many different things that it's like,
well, you can't keep everything either. You know, you can't work with it all.
And it's like if you don't have value of what an isopod is, you don't. I don't know. There's only a certain amount of people who are willing to buy, you know, $100 rubber duckies or something like that, which are a different type of isopod. But I have them, so.
Holy shit.
No, that's like you know, 6 of them you can get for about $200 or so.
6?
Yeah.
I saw this idiot.
Dude, they look like rubber ducks, though. They look like rubber fucking duckies. It's cool.
I saw this guy buy some isopods, and then he was making a YouTube video feeding them to bearded dragons, and they were expensive isopods. But he was doing it for views, you know. I'm like, for Christ's sakes. Yikes.
Now, do you know? I mean, they're isopods.
Man, whatever. Food is food. Yeah. I guess I'm sure a lot of them get eaten, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I have a bunch in like the crested gecko and the gargoyle geckos and stuff like that. And I hope they eat them at least. They are attracted to like their food mixture. So hopefully they get a few isopods in there as long as.
How many gargoyle gecko eggs do you got going on?
I don't have any eggs. No, not yet. Everyone's too young.
I'll tell you what, though, that's a good little project to be working.
Have you worked with any?
I had. Oops, I should click that. I had some a long time ago as pets. I like the gargoyles. I think they're great, but I know they're super popular right now, and I think they're awesome animals. I like that bacon line, man. Those are so cool. That orange and kind of like a yellowish stripe. The guy's name on Instagram is Badland Herpetological. I think he's on my Instagram.
Yeah, so that's where so that's Chris Paint Shop. That's where all my garbs are from.
Yeah, so, he's a cool guy. I talked to him quite a bit.
So I have
those are nice
I have
gargoyles.
I have one of his bacon lines.
Yeah, the bacon line. I actually messaged him about it, and then I was like, no, never mind. I don't want to get going on it.
It's a whole thing. Yeah,
and they're worth it. They're worth it. But I was like, no, never mind. Forget I asked.
And it's one of those things. It's a lineage of animals that's been around for a long time. You know, before they were cool, basically. And you know, it's something that's been refined for a very long time. And it's worth the money, but it is money.
Well, when he posted a picture the first time, it was probably like 2 months ago, maybe, that I noticed it. And I found myself, I went back and looked at it like 6 or 7 times that day. And I was like, shit, I got to stop looking at this. And I just kept going back. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then I messaged him. And he said he didn't want to sell that line or those animals or those babies, but he had something else. And I was like, I don't want anything else. I want those. And then he sent me a different line, and they were okay, but they didn't have those clean, crisp lines. And I said, well, I'll wait for something out of that line, you know. And that was kind of my way of waiting. And then I think later on he had the bacon line was ready. And then I realized if I started down, I had already messaged another friend of mine, Lance. Lance.
Yeah.
Lance breeds gargoyles too. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The guy wears Lance with the kilt.
I'm trying to think. Sorry, Lance Kirkman. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think
Lance
of
Kirkman.
what his company's name is.
He
But
just
it's
started it.
escaping me.
It's just Kirkman's Reptiles, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
He
Sorry,
just
Lance.
came out with his logo. He's probably watching right now. I love Lance. Lance is good people.
Yeah, but I know. Yeah, it's Kirkman's Reptiles.
Yeah, he just came out with his logo last week. Lance is local to me. He's a good friend of mine. One of the few people that are in the local hobby. I mean, I'm friends with people in local hobby, as in hobby friends, but Lance is a friend. Anyway, Lance and his wife breed gargoyle geckos, and I messaged him, and then I was thinking about buying some from him as well, and then I started adding up where I was going with this thing. Okay, I was going to buy some from Chris and buy some from Lance, and there's another guy that I was messaging, and all of a sudden I was looking at like $4,000, and I was like, "Whoa, buddy!
That's a thing.
Whoa,
Yep, that's
buddy!"
the whole thing.
And then I would realize that it's just like, no, yeah, no, don't do it, man. Are you nuts? Like, just settle down. I like lizards, I do, but I need to stick with my snakes, and I'm gonna have a few tegu projects, and I got the Prasina, and that's as far as I'm going with the lizards for now.
How are you doing with Prasina? I mean, how are you? How long have you had them? How do you like keeping them?
I got them in June. It's so weird, and my friend that I got them from, he produced them. They're captive bred. They're blue. They're not like a lime green. They're like blue. He told me, he's like, you open the cage and you'll start petting them, and you'll be like, oh wow, these are really great and they're cool, and then all of a sudden they're gonna bite you and run. And I was like, oh okay, whatever. So like I'm like, all right, yeah. So I give them like a couple weeks to figure out their stuff, and about week number 4, I get 3 eggs from him, and I was kind of like, oh shit, he takes such good care of his stuff. They were ovulating, obviously, around the time he sold them to me, or soon thereafter. They gave me 3 little eggs. I think 5 is probably the average, but that was their first clutch. But sure enough, the female's much nicer than the male. They'll sit there. The male will kind of run away more often than the female, but you get in there and touch them, and they won't move or do nothing, and then all of a sudden they'll bite you and run. It's like they set a trap. Kind of drives me nuts, but they're pretty cool to watch. They're always out, and they like watching the cat. The cat likes to watch them, but he never messes with the cage. He just kind of sits in front and watches them. So
Yeah,
I'm
I've
just
heard
looking
mixed
over at him
things. I
right
didn't
now.
know they were like super shy or not.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not out right now, which is kind of weird. Oh, one of them's out. You can't have exports out of there anymore. Thank God. I hate export animals. People like it and they think it's great, and I think it's terrible. They can't export out of there anymore. So what we have here is what we got, right? Europe has a bunch, and we got export captive bred animals, but no more wild caught. So captive bred looks so much better than wild caught anyway. Like, the difference is dried jerky or super nice. That's the difference. But I've seen some of the imported stuff that some of the wholesalers in Florida sell, and it just looks like shit. And then these things look like, it's just crazy. They look amazing.
Charles Howard wanted to know if you could turn the camera over and show him.
You want me to walk over there?
Yeah, if
Do
you want
care?
to. No, go for it.
All right.
There you go. Here we go. Here's the tour.
How do I turn the camera on? Can I turn it around with this thing? I'll just take it over there.
You should. I'm not 100% sure.
Here's the female. She's right there. Is that too close, or do you got a good view?
No, that's perfect. Kind of smaller than I expected, to be honest.
Well, they're really long. The male's hidden somewhere. It's the only animal we have in the house.
And are those live plants or are those fake?
Yeah, those are live plants.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, see, they're pretty interactive. She came to the window.
Yeah, and like they're not scurrying away or scared. She's just hanging
The
out.
male would, but like I said, if I open that, she would entertain me for a few seconds, and then she'll bite me, and then she'll run away.
It's also, I don't love about things with four legs, especially the more I get into them. It's like if they scurry away, those things move so fast, and I just don't ever want to lose one in the house. I'm so nervous about it.
Well, we have hardwood floors, so they really can't go very fast.
They just kind of run in place.
Yeah, so I just grab them. The cat will try to. I have to hold the cat back while I get him. But once in a while, I'll catch the kids opening the door. Looking in there, and then all of a sudden, I'll hear the lizard's feet running. They want out. The lizards want out. They want to come out. They look out all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're cool. They're like the only thing we have in the house for the most part. So
what do you feed them?
It's kind of dude, they eat egg. They eat pinkies. They eat crickets. I try not to feed them crickets, but they eat cricket, soldier fly larva, ground turkey neck, mango. They'll eat a little bit I don't know if they eat much of that in the wild, but I mix it in with the egg. I should probably look that up, but I figured like a tegu, I was like, yeah, we'll see how it works. That's how I mixed the tegu's food up, and they ate it. They don't eat it as much as they do the other stuff, though. They love pinkies. I was really surprised. They'll eat frozen thawed pinkies or like fresh dead ones. So
yeah, it's probably like a cheeseburger to them compared to everything else. I mean, just little balls of fat gooiness.
Yeah, there's not much to a pinky, is there?
No.
Just balls of milk. Anything that the hognose don't eat overnight, like the babies, little bastards, I just collect in like a little plastic cup and put it in there, and they eat them. That's kind of what they've been eating, so I don't waste the pinkies. So don't take long for the pinkies to go bad, but as long as they're not bad, I'll feed them to them.
Yeah, that's what sucks, especially when you got so many baby colubrids. Like I just fed off like 100 pinkies just before the show, and I'm going to check them probably tonight before I go to sleep. But if I didn't, I mean, they're bad by the morning. You got to throw out like 25 pinkies or something. I'd rather, have an animal that can make use of them. Like some type of lizard, a tegu or some monitor lizard or something like that.
Yeah, you need a pet lizard. One.
I've been thinking about it. It's just the one that I want is, like a house dog.
What's that?
I want a Rhino Iguana.
Oh man, they're not a house dog.
A good amount of work.
I'm gonna say, yeah, you really gotta work for it. I've wanted the Rhino Iguana a few times. Every time I get one, they're not the Rhino Iguana I wanted. They're like holding on to like this, like I like a Lacerda. Last year I bred Lacerda. I had two clutches from one female. So far this year, I haven't had the success I wanted. We'll just say that. So, but I moved him out of the 4-foot vision, and I think that hasn't helped. I don't know.
So would you move him into something smaller?
Yeah, I moved him into something smaller.
Because, I mean, that's a huge enclosure for a jeweled Lacerda.
For little
right?
Lacerdas, I know.
Yeah.
But last year, they spent a ton of time outside, too. I had a little outside triangle. I built like these triangle enclosures. You know what I'm talking about? Just
not
like
exactly.
this. No, I just built like a tent, like a triangle tent. There were like one piece in the middle, 2 triangles for the end pieces, and a square at the bottom. And I used a window screen to make the bottom. And the bottom was a latch, so I could just put it on its side, latch it, and open it, put them in, and close it. And then I'd put a cover on one side for shade, and they'd spend days out there, like from May till August. And I put leaf litter and stuff inside there. And dude, I think that's what did it. Them not being outside has been Ah, damn it.
How much cooler would it
why
be?
change? Why change what
Yeah.
you do when it's successful? Come on, Jesus.
That's like the name of the game as it comes to reptiles, man. We're always trying to change things despite having success, and then that's when you lose it.
Yeah.
But I mean, how cool is it to keep animals outside? I mean, we're both in climates that don't really, it doesn't really work for that many months out of the year. But I mean, that just seems like something that would really enhance the animal's life.
Yeah, it works. Well, it works really well, really for May till, especially for those guys from May till October. Tegus as well. April till October. Right now, the Burmese mountains have been outside probably March till October. But I've got 4. Their cage is 8 feet by 4 feet by 3 feet tall, and I have 4 or 5 100-watt compact heat emitters. Obviously, they're not on, but they were on 12 hours a day. They're on 24 hours a day from March till May, and then they're on 12 hours a day at night from May till June, and then they haven't been on for probably a month, maybe a month and a half, and they'll probably have to go back on halfway through September for the 12 hours at night. But I gotta go out there and hose them off like three times a day, and they grow a lot when they're in the summer. And I used to have a ton of them. I was trying to raise like 7 or 8, so I want the kids to have like a project someday that'll be like, because like I'd love to have adult big tortoises right now, but that's not something I can have. We talked about that on the last podcast, I think. Well, what I've come to determine is my 2 biggest ones were female. It's not hard to get a male. So I was like, I'm going to sell all the little turds. The big 2 wouldn't let them eat anyway. So the biggest 2 are females. Right now, I mean, they're worth $1,500, maybe $2,000 a piece. And I'll just raise those 2. Those would be like the safe keeps, And I got rid of all the smaller ones. And those 2 are like kind of like the family pets. And then when the time comes, they won't have a hard time finding a male, considering all these people are raising up these black Burmese mountain tortoises. And, people are raising up 10, 15, and 20 of them. Males will flood the market at some point. Females won't.
Mm-hmm. So, do you still have some of those, what are their Hermann's tortoises? Is that what you had?
Adults?
No, babies that you were selling.
I probably sold them all. I don't have any tortoises for sale.
As I think my nephew got, I don't know if it was a Russian or a Hermann's from you.
Probably either one. Either way, it would have been captive bred.
Yeah,
must have been a Hermann's. I remember selling one or sending him one.
Dude, he fucking loves that thing.
Didn't it go to the apartment and it went to? Didn't something weird happen?
I have no idea. I didn't talk to my sister outside of like I just said here's Shane's information. Oh. But I didn't really talk to her other than that. I just know that she has it. But they actually ended up
giving me the wrong address because it went to your dad's house or something.
Oh, maybe she just sent it. Maybe she just had my dad pick it up. Sounds like a thing she would do.
I thought she had me send it somewhere else because she didn't want because it was a surprise. And she gave me the wrong address, and then it went to the clubhouse, and they didn't know it was there. And the manager of the clubhouse called me or something. I can't remember.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it was fine.
Oh, God.
But I kept, she said she didn't have it. And I said, well, it's been delivered. I remember she messaged me or something, but something like that I could have swore. But nevertheless, it's there, and they're happy. It was supposed to be a surprise because I remember it was it was for his birthday or something, and like a pin or something. Yeah,
so he loves it. They ended up getting a bunch of dubia roaches delivered to the apartment that they lived in, and the landlord.
The Hermann's?
No, they have a bearded dragon that they're feeding it to. but their landlord stumbled upon it and kicked him out of the apartment. So they just bought a house in Jersey. So they had to move.
Damn, dude, he didn't fuck around.
Yeah, they've been living there for like 6 years, and he was like, cockroaches, huh? Yep, that's it. You're out of here.
Cockroaches.
So yeah,
having that shit.
I mean, you can't blame him. I guess cockroaches aren't everyone's thing. That's for sure.
He didn't have to kick her out. Like, hey, it's just dragon food. They don't fly. They didn't climb.
Hey man, not everyone is as understanding.
Hey, she bought a house though. That's cool. That's even better.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of like a big fuck you to that guy.
Yeah, it's like making a positive step in the right direction. But yeah, man, he loves that. He loves that animal. So,
good.
So yeah, thanks, dude. Other than that, I mean, what else are you working with as far as? Do you have any other lizard? I mean, you have so much stuff that I don't know about. To be honest, like I didn't know you had dry marcon and all that stuff.
No lizards. Dude, I try to keep that stuff on social media as a smaller footprint until I get like babies, because if I post like a shitload of Crebo and a shitload of false water pictures, then people are constantly messaging me, when are the babies going to be here? Why aren't you breeding these? Or I didn't know you had these. And I was like, oh, I haven't bred them yet, or I can't breed them, or I'm struggling to breed them. And then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, not that I want to seem perfect, but it's like, I'm already let down by like if I don't produce with them, you know what I mean? And then I gotta explain like, oh, I'm trying or whatever. But those projects are coming into fruition. They're coming into their own. They'll be there shortly, type thing, you know, kind of like the Hondurans. I did have the one pair of Hondurans this year. Pissed me off too. The male was such a wiener about locking with a female. He'd lock with her, and I'd sneeze, and he'd like smash against the wall and like hide. Like, dude, it was like other snakes don't do that. So sure enough, she lays 4 duds. I was like, this fucking male. And then now all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks, he's trying to breed her all the time. I put her in that tub while I cleaned her tub. And I look up there and he's breeding her. So I'm thinking, well, is she going to have a late clutch or what's going on here? Like, why is he doing this now when before, like, his attempted breeding was like this, like, maybe, I don't know. And she was like trying to like, you know, like, hey man, I'm ovulating. Like, and he's like, ah, and so that was a failure. You know, I had a couple big misses this year, to be honest with you, as much as everything looks great on Instagram. I mean, that's what, you know, like, and I don't mind talking about it, but I mean, people only show you what's great. You don't take pictures of misses. Yeah. You know, what are you supposed to put? Just nothing, like just a blank spot and say, well, this happened today. You know, like, I bought this Cal King from this clown. I blocked him on Instagram. I tried to write a thing about him on Fauna, but Fauna wouldn't let me because they got rid of that
the BLI.
But when he took the pictures of the king snake, he took it to where you couldn't see the tail. 3 pictures. And I'm a seasoned vet, bro. I should have caught it. Female king snake, and he's hiding the tail. That's a hognose trick, because hognose get that bold tail. And I've never seen it on a king snake. That's from dirty, dirty cages. They have 2 scent glands, just like corn snakes. If you keep them on filth, those scent glands get packed, and then the tail just swells. So I buy it, and he messages me like when the snake's getting shipped. He's like, man, we already missed her. And I'm like, what? That's kind of weird. I already knew this guy's all turtles, like water turtles. I'm like, what's this motherfucker talking about? Like, I don't like this shit. You know, like, this box going to be empty? Like, I was already feeling weird about it. Sure enough, it shows up, and I was like, oh, all right, it's a pretty good-looking snake. Then I look at the tail, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? No. So I'm like, oh fuck, I'm fucked on this one. Like, there's no way. So I soak it in warm water and Epsom salt and try to like loosen up this swollen tail and try to express because you know that sense, like they can get sepsis. What's it called? Sepsis, yeah. sepsis and died because it's like an infection. You get that. That's like a brown sludge in there at some point. I've seen hogs die from it. And I try to kind of like express it. It's not going to happen. This was like a year ago. Well, I bred her this year and she didn't take because her tail's so swollen or her glands and stuff that the snake's hemipenes can't even penetrate, even though they locked and bred. And I messaged the guy. I was like, hey, you know what? I made a comment about this before, but sure enough, she's not viable, and you knew as well, damn well, what the fuck you sold me. I usually don't complain, and I don't want my money back, but I just want you to know, like, you're a piece of shit, and I'm aware. And I know, I want you to know that I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that you're a dirtbag, and you did it for $200. Like, for $200, dude, like, give me a break. Like, you could have just rehomed this animal to be someone's pet snake or something. You didn't have to like push it off on someone that was making an investment. Yeah. Like, it took up a tough space, and whatever. But stuff like that. What do we get onto this for? That was crazy. I went off on a tantrum.
I don't know. It's been a little bit.
We were talking about pictures, but he hid the anyway. He hid the tail thing in the photo. But anyway, when anybody listening, and then for you and myself, constant reminder, man, when someone's buying a snake, dude, if you can't see that whole snake, especially where its tail is, and it's ask why they're hiding it. Hey, why can't I see that tail?
And I think that's something to where when I was first getting into snakes, and I always get a little frustrated if someone's like, let me see this, let me see that, and extra pictures and stuff, but I'll usually do it. But that's a practice that I think I used to do, but now I don't really do as much. Like ball python guys back in the day used to like always do that before you get a snake. But it's been so long since like I not bought from someone who's like a friend and who I know wouldn't fuck me over, but that's definitely like a good practice to do, and I should probably remember that more than I typically, because I don't do it. What I tend
to do is I don't even ask for pictures when I buy animals. I really don't. Mm-hmm. I expect people to be honest, and I don't buy from strangers. I know pretty much everybody now, and I know who's a dirtbag and who's not, and I know I don't associate with people that aren't. We all know who the dirtbags are. It's not hard to see, and we all know who the good people are. And I just ask, is there any cosmetic issues with this animal? And they say no. I take them for their word. And I also don't buy adult animals at all anymore, period. Because when I first started, I bought adult animals. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, why is a breeder selling an adult female? When I was young, not in age, but in the hobby, I didn't ask myself that. I just thought, wow, what a deal. Especially with the hognose. Dude, I spent a lot of money on hognose. And these pricks sell adult female hognose that aren't doing so well. And you might get lucky enough to get a season out of it. And then guess what? That hognose is either going to croak or it's going to have a bunch of issues. And everybody knows, the hognose people anyway, they know what the hell I'm talking about.
I've been there.
Buy yearlings,
I did it.
Or you either buy yearlings or you buy babies. I'll buy yearlings because sometimes it takes a year to sell an expensive, $3,000-$4,000 hognose. Not everybody's coming through the door when the snakes have 5 meals with $1,000 or $4,000 to buy a hognose. It might take 12 months. It might take 6. But I'm not going to be knocking down the door to buy a 4-year-old albino conda anytime soon. I learned my lesson. You know what I mean? Like, or a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old. Now, I have 2 or 3 close friends in the hobby that I wouldn't second guess buying anything from them. But that's because they're like friggin' close friends. But yeah, some things need to be said, man. Some things need to be pointed out. People might sell adult females because they no longer need the het female. And that makes sense. They got a visual now and they don't have the space to have multiple females and they're going to sell the het. But, you're gonna have to pick or choose what you believe in, and because like you said, it happened to you, and sure as shit, it happened to me.
Well, this is kind of like what I consider like my rebuilding year, or maybe it's maybe not the best way to put it, but basically I'm taking my females who are, they're 5 years old, 6 years old. I've had 2 to 3 years out of them, which is just enough time to have their offspring replace them. And I'm able to have babies that I produced from, right out of the egg and fed them the whole time through everything that I want to do. And so now I can move some females because I just don't have room to keep all the females. So like right now I am selling, a certain amount of adult female breeders. And like, dude, those things are 100% solid, 100%. I could probably breed them for, at least 8 more years or something like that if I really wanted to. Their clutch sizes are only going up, if not staying the same. So it's like, yeah, every once in a while you will, but you got to know the situation of why it's happening.
You're also a reputable person. You're also a corn
Yeah.
snake breeder. You know what I mean? You're not selling snakes in the shadow of the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a reputation on the line for most of us who, are in the public and have a name in front of us, and, Evergreen State Reptiles, that's that doing bad deals. I mean, everyone knows, man, it's hard to get away with stuff after a certain amount of time. Although I know some people who remarkably get away with it consistently, and it's hard to keep people accountable also.
Dude,
in this hobby.
I know a certain individual who has so many good reviews that's screwed over so many people that the people that have been screwed over think that they can't say anything because the guy has so many damn good reviews, and all of a sudden I'm seeing these bad not reviews but bad situations add up. And the good reviews aren't even fucking buyers. They're just fucking fan club people. You know what I mean? And then the people that are buying are losing their asses. Mm-hmm. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. But nevertheless, yeah, man, it's a rebuilding thing for me this year with hognose. I produced 38 hognose westerns. 38. This is my
individuals or clutches?
38 individuals.
Okay.
I lost, I didn't lose. I had 3 infertile clutches, and I've never had a single infertile clutch. And I had 1 clutch that was half infertile, and I lost 2 females in brumation. I'm not gonna, I'll admit it. Shit happens. And none of that shit I raised myself. Nothing I bought as babies. That's stuff I bought as adults. I don't know how old it was. You know what I mean? Like, never again. You know what I mean? Like, So anyway, I didn't hold enough back either. That's the stupid part. I got excited, producing these animals, people talking, want to buy. Hey, I'm here. Let's talk. Let's sell. I love it, but and my double clutching female, my favorite female of all time, 24 and 22 eggs in 1 season, 2 clutches, didn't keep any of that genetics back. And I feel like that's a hereditary thing, and I didn't keep that back, dude. Ouch.
Yeah, I think what I've been the more generations I'm breeding, the more I want to breed for animals that feed well, animals that reproduce well, and really not just looking at like the looks of the animal, but really thinking about, the actual like physicality. I don't know what I want to call it, but the actual fecundity of the animal and the health of the animal. I think that's, super important so that we don't end up with like bulldogs, that can't breathe or something like that. Like we want to breed things that are also healthy.
I bought 2 super conda males, albinos, right? Over a couple year period. And one of them had the biggest bulbous eyes you ever saw. And I never bred him, thank God. But at the same time, I would have, because I didn't really know any better until I bought my other one. And he showed up, and I was like, what the hell? Side by side, I'm looking at him. I'm like, this is not a snake that I want to carry the genetics over to. I didn't realize that the anaconda, the albino and a hognose gives it not bug eyes, but bigger eyes. And if you start looking at people's pictures, you see that. So that was pet only and not going to breed any genetics. The other albino, beautiful, normal size eyes, but like I said, I lost those 2 girls in Burmation. Those were old snakes, and I bought those recently, like in the last 2 years. Like, why the hell did I buy an old snake? It's because I didn't know how old they were.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, damn, that's a learning curve. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and that affects you.
You're buying them from names that are out there as big dogs, and they knew they had old snakes. Like, oh, that somebody might get a year out of them, they might not. I don't care. I'm going to get money for this snake. So
that's kind of why I love cord snakes. They're always viable. At least, for the most part, they're so solid.
It doesn't affect you financially. What it affects you as your rah mentality. Like your go get 'em mentality. When something like that happens, you're like, fuck this, I'm folding up. You know what I mean? Like,
just those setbacks. Yeah.
The setbacks are like, I'm gonna fold up. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like the rah, like, like, yeah. Like the good shit. You know what I mean? Like the fun stuff.
I mean, that happens to me like multiple times a year, right? Like something happens.
Well, it happens to everybody.
Fuck. But then hopefully some more good things happen to set you back on the right track.
Exactly. It's kind of, yeah. Oh, a bunch of good things happen. You got to learn from mistakes that we make, but then there's stuff like that where the mistake you made was just buying an animal that you forgot to ask how old it was. You know what I mean? And you can't tell by looking at it because it doesn't have gray hair. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, yeah, folding up shop, man. Done. I'm getting out of here. And then you go to bed and wake up the next day and you're like, fuck that, I'm going to rule this. You come back at it even tougher.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. In this game, you put so much time into these animals, just like nothing. It's one thing to be your work, but it's also, years of your life. If you just think about how many years you take growing animals up and stuff like that, it's like, if I quit now, I have wasted 7 years or, however many years you have in a project or something like that. And I think I'm stuck here. I think I've built my own prison and I'm here for life.
That's it. Definitely have goals, man. I got a goal to, I really want that shop, man. I mean, I don't mean a storefront. I mean a shop on my property with, that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get it. I'm close.
What would be your ideal way of building? How would you do it?
I had a room for cooling and a room for colubrids and a room for boas and pythons. And then, no, I wouldn't have a huge shop. I've seen the way other people have done it. I'm not talking a fucking mansion. I'm talking like, something that's like 15 by 40 or whatever. And
that's sizable, man. That's not.
I mean, it may be even bigger because I might need to store some other stuff in there, like a boat. Another thing is, man, I don't breed my own rodents, and someday I'd like to, because I tell you what, boy, if you've seen that rodent bill, that thing is adding up. I keep a ledger of how much I spend on rodents, obviously. And God bless. I was telling my dad the other day, it was over 3,000 already this year. And he grabbed his heart and like fell off his chair. He got all upset about it, He's like, Jesus, what are you talking about? Who the hell spends that kind of money on that shit? I'm like, well, it's part of it, But
yeah, I breed.
Really, it'd probably be a lot more than 3,000, but I had quite a bit that I had bought last year in November. So it'd probably be like $5,000. But
yeah, I breed a very small colony of mice just for live feeders. And this year I realized that I didn't raise up enough babies, and now I just have all these really old fucking mice that don't want to reproduce anything. So I think I just have all these geriatric mice, and I'm not reproducing anything. So I think I got to go out and get some live mice from someone anyhow. And yeah, it's hard when I keep up with my collection.
Mice.
When I keep up with my collection, sometimes I'll fall behind on, like, making sure that the mice are young, feeding off the old ones and raising up some
new
old
ones are good meals for the mice.
I know. Yeah.
Or
I mean, they would be
the snakes. I mean,
yeah. And there's definitely, they only give you a few years, and I've had them probably for 2.5 years or so. So they're getting up there.
Yeah. I bought some from another guy one time. He said, "Oh, these mice won't breed anymore." And I bought, I don't know, there was 5 or 10 old females in this bucket, and I brought them home live, and literally not one but 2 of them gave birth in the bucket on the way home. And I was like, good God, this guy, like, is an older guy, didn't even know what he's doing. I think he gave me like new females, but I can't keep those dudes. If I even have those in the truck cab on the way home, like when I go pick live up, my throat starts scratching. And I'm like,
oh, really?
Yeah, like I can't do mice, man.
Yeah.
Just can't have live mice nowhere. I gotta wear a mask.
Yeah, I've been in those those rooms where, like, legit rodent facilities where the ammonia just kind of hits you in the face and, like, you start crying and shit. It's not the best.
Oh, it's disgusting. I've seen where people burn rodent bedding. Terrible.
Doing that. I mean, I guess you got to do something. I don't know.
That.
What do people usually do to get rid of the waste with large facilities?
Probably put in the recycle bin, I guess. But a friend of mine, he told me this one guy in California, he said he's got chickens and mice, and this dude burns it in his wood stove in his house, bro.
Whoa. No.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not making this up.
That's disgusting.
That's filthy, huh?
That is fucking nasty.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is a dirty human.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want the bedding in
a house that's like a $700,000 house. Burning it in the wood stove. So that's a dirty human.
When your house has wheels, I mean, the standards get lower, I suppose. And I don't know, man. Some people doing their own thing out there. That's a lot, though.
That's funny. All right. Well, shit. We hit the 2 hour
We made
mark.
it. Yeah, we made it, man. So if anyone wants to contact you, where can they find you?
Instagram, please. I hate Facebook, man. I got almost 5,000 followers on there, and I want to hit that 5,000 mark, but I cannot stand Facebook. I wish I could delete my personal Facebook and just have the business page, but they won't let you do that. Drives me nuts.
It's a cesspool at the moment.
No, I mean, even before that, I'm talking about Facebook a year ago. I'm talking. I've always hated Facebook. I like Instagram, but I'm talking like I wish my Facebook could just be my business account, and I could just have my Evergreen State business account and just go to like reptile groups and not have Shane Wooldridge on Facebook, because I don't want to see all these fools from high school. They all, like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I had like 2,000 friends on there last year, and I got down to like 100 people and just had my grandparents and like my family members on there, because I figure the reptile people, they have me on Instagram, they have me on Evergreen State Reptiles on my Facebook business page, and I don't want people on my Facebook. I just don't want Facebook. So I someday I might delete that deal, but it's pretty tough to do when there's 5,000 followers on the business page. But Instagram's so much better.
Yeah, and it sucks because you can't really reach people, but
I have that Facebook app where I can just do the business page, and I monitor it, and I write back to everybody who talks, and I handle my messages and stuff. But I just, I think Facebook kind of, even with everything that's going on in the world today, way before that, I didn't like Facebook for what it was. I'm talking 3 or 4 years ago, even, during everything that was going on in the world then. So, but Instagram or email, evergreenstatereptiles@gmail.com. Email and Instagram, DM is great. Facebook, Evergreen State Reptiles LLC, direct message, or send a raven or a falcon, or hit Joe up and he'll be the middle guy.
That's not my preferred way to do it, but you can hit me up at Port City Pet on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. PortCityPet.com. Please check out ISOPODS, all of that, as well as some bedding, and we have some animals available, as well as Emily and Ed of Snake Discovery. Go check out them everywhere in which they are, because they have some cool animals coming up as well. Shane, thanks for hanging out.
See you guys.
Catch you guys later.